A 10-year-old boy was alone at home with his aunt. She introduced him to a secret game he had never played before. And from that day, his life changed forever. Sifo was a cheerful 10-year-old who loved school, learning, playing with friends, and filling the playground with laughter. His teachers praised his hard work, and his classmates adored him. But once school was over, everything changed. Every afternoon, Sifo would walk back to his home, a small but neat house at the edge of the village. As soon as he opened the door, the joyful noise of the day disappeared. The house was quiet, still, and empty. His father worked as a long-distance truck driver. He would sometimes be away for 2 or 3 days, transporting goods from one town to another. His mother ran a small tailoring shop in the market. She was known for making beautiful dresses and clothes, and many people in the town came to her for special orders. Her shop stayed open until late evening, especially on busy days. Because of their work, Sifo was often alone after school. He would take off his school shoes, eat a simple meal his mother prepared in the morning, and then sit with his homework. After that, there was nothing much to do, no one to talk to, no one to play with. The house felt too quiet. One evening, as the sun set and the shadows grew longer in the room, Sifo looked up at his parents during dinner. His voice was low, almost a whisper. Mama, Baba, I don't like being alone after school. It feels empty. I don't have anyone to talk to. His mother paused, placing her spoon down. His father leaned closer, concern on his face. His mother reached across the table and gently held Sifo's small hand. You know, my son, she said kindly, we don't want you to feel lonely, but we must work to take care of our family. Without Baba's driving and my sewing, we wouldn't have food on the table or money for your school. Sifo nodded slowly. He understood their words and he didn't want to complain, but deep in his heart, he wished things were different. He didn't need new clothes or toys. He just wanted his parents' time, their presence, and someone to share his stories with after school. He looked down at his plate. Quiet again. The meal was warm, but inside he still felt cold. One morning, as his mother was getting ready for work, she looked at Sifo and noticed how quiet he had become. He wasn't humming songs or talking about school like he used to. That evening, while they sat together eating dinner, his mother gently said, Sifo, I found someone to stay with you during the afternoons. Auntie Zola will come over tomorrow. Sifo's eyes lit up. Really? Auntie Zola? Yes, his mother smiled. She lives just next door and she's happy to spend time with you. You like her, don't you? I love her. She always tells funny stories. Auntie Zola, his mother's best friend and neighbor, had known Sifo since he was a baby. She lived alone in a cozy little house filled with colorful curtains. Whenever she visited, she brought something small, a bag of peanuts, a book, or a homemade cookie just for Sifo. The next day, after school, Sifo ran next door. Zola greeted him with a warm smile and a big hug. Welcome, my little sunshine, she said. Her home was small, but full of love. She made his favorite snacks, sweet fried bananas and crispy maize fritters. They sat together, telling stories, laughing loudly, and sometimes watching cartoons. She even taught him a few words in Swahili and told him tales from when she was a child in her village. One afternoon, as they were sitting on the porch, Zola handed him a little box wrapped in bright paper. What's this? Sifo asked with wide eyes. Open it, Zola smiled. Inside was a shiny red toy car. This is for you, she said gently. You're like the son I never had. Thank you, Auntie. It's my favorite. Sifo beamed with joy. For the first time in a long while, his afternoons felt full of happiness, laughter, and care. With Auntie Zola around, Sifo no longer felt alone. A few days later, things started to feel a little different. One afternoon, Sifo returned from school and made his way to Auntie Zola's house as usual. But when he walked in, something felt off. Auntie Zola called him over with a smile, but she seemed unusually close, almost too close. Come here, Sifo, she said. I've got a special game we can play together. Sifo was a bit confused at first. Auntie Zola had always been so loving and fun, but something in her tone made him feel uncertain. Still, Her warm smile made him feel safe. So he didn't think too much of it. As they began to play, Sifo started to feel uncomfortable. The game felt strange, and her actions seemed different from the usual playful games they'd enjoyed. He wasn't sure why, but something didn't feel right. The more they played, the more Sifo began to pull back, feeling his discomfort grow. Every time he hesitated, Auntie Zola encouraged him to continue. "Come on, Sifo, it's fun. Just a little longer," she said, with a smile. But no matter how much she smiled, Sifo couldn't shake the uneasy feeling in his stomach. He didn't enjoy the game anymore. In fact, he didn't want to play at all. One evening, when Auntie Zola invited him to play again, Sifo couldn't hold his feelings in any longer. "I don't want to play anymore, Auntie," he said quietly, his voice trembling. Auntie Zola paused, her smile lingering for a moment before she tried to reassure him. "It's okay, Sifo. You're doing the right thing," she said gently. But Sifo wasn't reassured. He could feel it now deep inside him. What he was feeling wasn't just nervousness. It was real discomfort, a sense that something was wrong. Unsure of how to make sense of it, Sifo decided that he needed to talk to someone. The next day at school, he decided to speak to his teacher, Miss Amara. The next day at school, Sifo's teacher, Miss Amara, noticed something was wrong. Sifo, who was usually full of energy and always talking to his friends, had become unusually quiet and distant. "Sifo, is everything okay?" she asked kindly, sensing that something was troubling him. Sifo hesitated. He stared at his desk for a moment, unsure of how to put his feelings into words. Finally, he spoke up, his voice soft but steady. "Miss Amara, my Auntie Zola is acting in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable." Miss Amara listened carefully, her face filled with concern and understanding. "You're very brave, Sifo," she said gently, her voice full of empathy. "What you're feeling is important, and I want to help you." Without wasting any time, Miss Amara informed the school counselor about what Sifo had shared, and the counselor immediately contacted Sifo's parents. When his mother and father found out what had been happening, they were devastated. They had never imagined that something like this could be happening right under their noses. "We're so sorry, Sifo," his mother said, hugging him tightly, her voice filled with regret. "We should have listened to you sooner." His father, his face filled with sorrow, nodded in agreement. "From now on, we'll make sure you're never alone again, Sifo." Sifo's parents took immediate action, reporting Auntie Zola to the police. A kind officer met with Sifo and assured him that he had done the right thing by speaking up. Not long after, Auntie Zola was arrested, and the truth of her actions was revealed to the neighborhood, shattering the illusion of her warm smiles and kindness. Determined to protect their son and be more present in his life, Sifo's parents adjusted their busy schedules so that he would never be left alone after school again. They also took Sifo to a counselor who helped him process his emotions and begin the long journey of healing. As time passed, Sifo's fears slowly faded away. The nightmares that had haunted him stopped, and his confidence began to return. He was once again playing with his friends, laughing and smiling, just like before. A few weeks later, Sifo approached Miss Amara at school with a grateful smile. "Thank you for helping me," he said sincerely, his voice filled with gratitude. Miss Amara smiled warmly and patted him gently on the shoulder. "You are very brave, Sifo. I'm proud of you." Through this experience, Sifo learned a powerful lesson. It's always okay to speak up when something doesn't feel right. There are people who will listen, believe, and protect you, no matter what.